So, the first surprisingly comforting truth is that it is impossible to know everything. I don't know about you, but I frequently face analysis paralysis where I'm looking up more information, more reviews, maybe polling people to try to gather as much information as I possibly can so that I can try to make the best, most informed decision possible. And it's easy to get into that place, isn't it? Because we want to be sure, we want to make a good decision, we want to eliminate any of that uncertainty. And so we keep getting data. But the surprisingly comfortable truth in all of that is that it is impossible to know everything. No matter how much time we spend researching, there's still going to be things that we do not know. And that's actually freeing, because when you give yourself permission to act without knowing everything, it means that you're no longer trying to hold yourself to that unrealistic expectation. And since we do have to act without having perfect information, that means that mistakes are inevitable. And that is another surprisingly comforting truth. You are going to screw up. We all do. And when you learn to accept that mistakes are part of being alive, part of being human, it helps to remove some of that emotional reaction from them. It's natural. It's okay. Now, when we do make mistakes, it's important to know what to do with them. Accept your piece in it, take responsibility, admit it, and then finally learn from it. But don't worry about trying to not make them, because that's impossible. Surprisingly comforting truth number 3. You will be disappointed, and you will disappoint others. And this is one of those that, as somebody who fears abandonment, has been a difficult yet powerful one for me to accept. Not so much in that I worry about being disappointed, but I worry about letting others down. But again, it's going to happen. And part of the reason for that is that we all go through the world with our own expectations of how people are going to respond or how they're going to act. And of course, they don't always know what our expectations are. And even if they did, it's their prerogative to decide what they want to do. And so disappointment and disappointing others, it's inevitable. So what that means is that you don't need to act always concerned for others and how they're going to respond to what you do. Now, that doesn't mean to act without kindness. No. But it just means that if you're making decisions that aren't intentionally harming another, you're doing just fine. Surprisingly comforting truth number 4. No number of people can make you feel loved if you don't love yourself. And in fact, it's not just no number of people, it's nothing else can make you feel loved if you don't love yourself. Sometimes I think we search for love and acceptance in all kinds of different ways. It shows up in addictions and compulsions, and all we want is to be seen and accepted and loved. But that search, it's never ending if you don't love yourself first. And at first that feels like, well, why is that a comforting truth? That sounds horrible. But it's not. Because who's the one person that you can control? You. And that's pretty cool, huh? And then the last surprisingly comforting truth is that certainty and safety are an illusion. So often we act out of a fear of loss or a fear of the unknown. And we think that if we don't make a decision, if we just stay still, or if we play by the rules, that everything's going to be okay, that we're not going to lose. But that's not how life works. I mean, you know that. When you look around, you see sometimes horrible things happening to the best people. And it's another one that on the surface, you're like, that doesn't comfort me. But in a way it does. Because what that says is that we can take those leaps of faith we can take those chances, because choosing not to take them doesn't mean that nothing's going to happen. In fact, there's no way to prevent any wrongdoing or any harm from ever coming to us or anybody else. So you might as well live. So there you have it. Those are my 5 comforting truths. Those are the ones that I come back to on those hard days, those days when I start to question how we're going to make it through. And it reminds me what I can and cannot control, and helps to ground me and keep me centered. Maybe it can do the same for you.